is set to hit a mid.
Let's face it, there's a whole lot of information out there. The 24-hour news cycle, thousands of cable channels, information online. Most of you have more information at your fingertips than anyone your age has ever had before. But what is really interesting is how much of it is real. Look, we're all getting inundated by news and how fast it's coming at us, right? It seems like it's always on. You know what's going on, but not to the point where it paralyzes us or makes us feel like there's nothing we can do. But what happens when you get information that just isn't right? What happens when you get information that is so far out there that you know that it's not right? Vetting is a way of like doing a background check on the information that we come across, right? We think about that information and we either accept it or reject it. There are 8 things that we should consider when vetting a source. Number 1, check the date. So many things on the internet are used over and over and over and over. It's like there's no originality in the internet, right? Changes the context of the whole thing. And I'll give you a good example. In 2015, in Georgetown, Texas, there is a group of congressmen having a meeting about pandemics. They were not talking about the coronavirus. They were just talking about pandemics in general. But they were talking about viruses. And in the middle of that, one of the congressmen got up, excused himself from the group, and then went to the bathroom. But he forgot to turn his mic off. And what happened would make any 5th grader laugh, right? But the reason I'm bringing this up is now like people were saying that this is a meeting about corona, which to a certain extent it could be, but in the context that they were saying it, they were saying that this happened like this year, and this is something that happened in 2015. So be sure to check the date. Check the author. Every time we start to write, we do this thing where we box the title, circle the author. Check the author, right? Find out what the author thinks. That's important. And when a person writes something, people usually write what they feel or what they believe. So it's important that you understand what a person thinks, right? What their political affiliations are, organizations that they belong to, things that they believe, things that they preach and talk about. It's important that you understand that so that way when you're reading something from them, you get that, hey, it's part of who they are. And a good example of this is there's a conservative writer. His name is David Harsanyi, right? And he wrote this article about how he was defending Donald Trump and the administration on how they're handling the whole coronavirus thing and saying that, hey, nobody saw this thing coming, right? Whereas other people were saying, hey, in December and in January, we were talking about the coronavirus. I know in my class, we were doing CNN 10, and they were talking about the coronavirus. So we knew that it was going to spread eventually. I mean, questions would come to me like that on the daily. Is it going to come to us? When will it come to us? And then we started to see it happen. This guy is a conservative, and he kind of backs Donald Trump, and he's going to say that, hey, nobody really understood that this was going to happen. So know your author, know what they think and what they feel. Number 3, consider the source. Where is this coming from? Look at the web page that you got the information from. So many times my kids Google something, and then the first link that comes up, they jump on that and they just read that, and that's it. What does the website stand for? Are all the articles the same? And this kind of leads me into news feeds. And news feeds are a big, huge thing I think about too, because a lot of you guys, when you're talking about where you got your news from, you talked about your news feeds. And what you have to understand is news feeds are algorithms that are created to kind of put all the same kind of articles that you've been looking up into the same place. So you're not really getting any new news. Read beyond. So many times people just read the headlines and then they think that's what it's all about and that's it, right? You have to read beyond that. You have to go further than that because so many articles have titles that will just get you to click on it. It's called clickbait. It's kind of like catfishing, but just for articles. Instead of hooking up with some or meeting somebody who looks nothing like they said they look like, you're reading something and it's talking about nothing that it's supposed to be talking about, right? Is it a joke? So many times things are written on the internet and they're not to be taken seriously, right? So you have to look at who's writing it. Is that a satirist? You have to look at the sources it's coming from, like the website. Is it The Onion? a website that is known for being satirical. So satire is a good way that misinformation kind of gets out there because people think it's real and it's not, right? It's meant to be a joke, or it's meant to bring attention to a problem, not necessarily solve it. Supporting sources. Oh my God. Remember, when you're reading, it is not a race. It's not a race. When you're reading, take your time. You come across a hyperlink, click on the hyperlink. See if the hyperlink supports what they're talking about. Remember, main idea and supporting details. That means there's more reading. Yes, more reading. If somebody told you your boyfriend or girlfriend was cheating on you, you would want to have details so that way you knew it's true, or you'd want to have somebody else tell you, yeah, that's true, that happened. So take your time, check your supporting sources, right? Number 7, check your biases, right? Look, we all have biases, and what we believe definitely shapes like how we perceive things or the meaning that we take from things. I mean, if you're a person who thinks that China and America don't have the greatest relationship, you might be one of those people who, when they hear conspiracy theories like China created this coronavirus, it is not the truth. Let me say it one more time. It is not the truth. This brings me to something that's really important. So I need you to stop and focus. It's misinformation like this that then leads to people harming other people because they're a specific ethnicity, or because they look a specific way, or because they're from a specific place. Right? That's why it's so important for you to understand and vet these sources. Ask the experts. That's right. There are experts who are known just to go and find news and real news and fake news. There are several different websites that you can go and you can check stuff into. I'm going to put a bunch of links in the description below so that way you can check them. Look for experts on the subject. Try to find someone who knows what they're talking about, and then quote them and cite them and source them, right? This is how we get rid of all the fake news. All right. I appreciate your 7 minutes. I'll see you soon.